Good morning dear students. This video is for class 10 subject science chapter number 12 electricity and this is lecture number 2. In our previous lecture we have studied about charge, electric current and electric potential. In today's lecture we are going to study about circuit diagram and Ohm's law. Electric circuit. What is an electric circuit? Electric circuit is a closed conducting path containing a source of energy, that is electrical energy, and a device. Suppose we have a cell, the dry cell which we usually use in the torch, or you can say in the remotes. I have a positive terminal for this and a negative terminal for this. And if I connect it with the help of wires to a bulb, this is the filament of the bulb. So this is called electric circuit. Here I mentioned that it is a closed conducting path containing a source of electric energy and a device. So this is the simplest electric circuit we can make. Here that cell is providing the energy, electrical energy, and this bulb is acting as a load or a device. Here you can see the connection of electrical energy source and the load is made with the help of conducting wires. Why I am saying conducting wires? Because current will flow in the conducting wires. And this complete circuit is called electric circuit. Now this electric circuit can be of two types, open and close. Let us understand this with the help of an example with the cell and bulb. Suppose we break the connection of the conducting wire from here. Then this connection will look like we will be having a load, but the connections will not be complete. What will happen then? This is a conducting path, but it is not the closed one because current is not flowing through this path as the connections are not complete. So this connection will be called a open electric circuit, in which no current flows. And this is called closed circuit when there is no break in the conducting path and the current flows throughout the circuit very comfortably. So this will be called a closed electric circuit. So these are two types of electric circuits. Remember that electric circuit is a closed conducting path containing a source of electric energy and a device or load. What are electrical components? Electric components are the components which are used in the electric circuit. It can be energy source like cell, it can be a battery, or it can be a load. It can also have resistors, ammeters, voltmeters, galvanometers. So one more, switch or key. So these are called electric components. With the help of these electric components, we make electric circuits. Then what is electric Circuit diagram. Circuit diagram. A diagram showing the arrangement of various electric components in an electric circuit with the help of their symbols is called electric circuit diagram. So before drawing an electric circuit diagram, we should know the symbols of various electric components. So we have a few electric components here along with their symbols. The first is electric cell. A cell is always denoted by two lines this way. This bigger line shows the positive terminal, where the smaller line shows the negative terminal. So this is the symbol for electric cell. Battery. Battery, or you can say it is a combination of two or more cells, and it is represented as or you can have two or more than two cells. For each cell you will be having the positive and negative terminal, and this way finally you will get the combination of positive and negative terminal which will be connected with an electric circuit. Plug key. Plug key or a switch is represented by this symbol. But this is open. That means no current will flow when the plug key or switch is in this condition. Plug key or switch, when they are closed, this will be the symbol. You can have one more symbol for switch. You can draw it like this is open and this is closed one. Then we have a wire joint. A wire joint can be made like this, that we have a wire and another wire is getting joined here. This dot is representing the joining of the two wires. Then we have wires crossing without joining. If the wires are crossing without joining, then they can be like this, that one wire is going and another wire will pass through it, but it will not touch the wire. So this is the symbol for wires crossing without joining. Then we have electric bulb. Electric bulb is having a symbol. This is the symbol for electric bulb, or you can also draw this symbol for load. Another electric component is resistor. Resistor, which is another electric component, and it is made with the simple zigzag lines. This zigzag line represents the hindrance to the current, and that is why they are called resistors. When this resistance is fixed, it is given as this with this symbol, and if it is variable, then it can be drawn as zigzag lines and one line with the arrow head. So this is showing that this resistance is variable, or we can change this resistance. It can also be made with the symbol this, that we can change this resistance, and when we can change the resistance, then that device is called rheostat. Then we have ammeter. Ammeter, we know that this is the device to measure the current, and the symbol for this is, we write A in between, plus and minus signs are there, that it has two terminals, positive and negative. Accordingly, it will be connected in the circuit. Then we have voltmeter. Voltmeter is also having positive and negative terminals, according to which is it connected in the parallel to the resistors in the circuit. Now these were the electric components which we use in the electric circuits. And I have told you the symbols that how we are going to represent these electric components in a circuit diagram. Now let us try to draw one electric circuit diagram. Let us first try to make a simple electric circuit diagram which is having a bulb which is acting as a load, a cell which is acting as a electrical energy source, and a switch, or you can say a key. So we have electrical energy source, a cell which will be connected to the load. In between we have a switch. So I told you this is the symbol of the switch, but this is which kind of electric circuit? Open, because here the switch is not connected, and that is why you can also say that switch is off. So when the switch is off, will the light glow? Will the bulb glow? No, because here it is not making the proper connections. The closed path is not made, and hence no current is flowing in the circuit. So no current will reach to the bulb and this will not glow. But when we make a dot in between the switch, that means that this switch is closed and now the current is flowing in the circuit, and now it is called closed circuit, and this bulb will glow. We can also try with more complex components, like we have a resistance or a conducting wire which is having resistance. Then we have, as we know, as we have to calculate the potential difference across the two ends of the conductor A and B. If we have to measure the potential difference, we will use voltmeter. So this is the symbol for voltmeter. And if we have to measure the current in the circuit, then we will add ammeter, and that too in series, positive, negative. We also need a cell or a battery. So battery you can draw this way. So you will be having, so this is how you are going to complete your circuit. Suppose we also connect one rheostat to it. Here we have a variable resistance. So that means we can vary the resistance of this circuit. If we want to change the current of the circuit and the potential is fixed, or you can say the energy is fixed which we are going to give to this circuit, then we can vary the current in the circuit with the help of this variable resistance. So this is our rheostat. This is our voltmeter, conductor, or you can say resistor. This is ammeter, and these are our connecting wires, because connecting wires are also the part of electric circuit. And here we have battery. So this is how you draw an electric circuit. Now let us move to our next topic, that is Ohm's law. As we know that when we give an electric energy, that is voltage or potential difference, to an electric circuit, then current flows through the circuit. So there must be some relation between the current flowing in the circuit and the voltage applied or the potential applied. So one of the scientists, George Simon Ohm, he was a German physicist. He studied the relation between the current and the potential difference across the ends of the conductor in 1826, and he gave a law. He gave a relation between the current flowing in the circuit and the potential difference applied across the ends of the conductor. and this relationship is known as Ohm's law. Why Ohm's law? Because George Simon Ohm has given the law. That is why on his name this law is given. The diagram we just made in electric circuit diagrams is the Ohm's law apparatus, or you can say the circuit on which Ohm worked. So what did he do here? He was having a battery as an electric energy source, a rheostat to vary the resistance in the circuit, an ammeter to measure the current in the circuit, voltmeter to measure the potential difference. Here he was having a resistor, and these were the connecting wires. So what he studied about the relation between the current and the voltage, then because here he is having a fixed voltage, but because of the rheostat we can vary the resistance of the circuit. So what he saw, that when different voltages are given to the resistor or the conducting wire, then different current flows in the circuit. That means there is a relation, or there is a change in the current according to the voltage or potential difference applied. So he gave a relation between the potential difference and the current. So Ohm said that the current flowing in the circuit, denoted by I, is directly proportional to the potential difference across the ends of the conductor. That means potential difference, you know the symbol, that is V. That means current is directly proportional to potential difference. But with the help of this mathematical equation, we cannot solve the questions or numerical problems. So, to solve this problem, we have IR is equal to V. That means a constant value is multiplied with the current, so that this total term will be equal to the potential difference. And what is this R? Here this R is a constant of proportionality, and this R is known as the resistance of the circuit. Now what do you mean by the term resistance? As the name itself says, resist, that means resistance is a property of a conductor to oppose or to resist the flow of current or charge through it, and it is denoted by capital R, and as it was given by ohms, then the units of the resistance are ohms. The symbol is this. This is called omega. But remember, this condition was only given in case of the temperature and other physical conditions of the conductor. They remains the same. Temperature and other physical conditions should be constant, or there should be no change in the temperature and physical conditions of the conductor while studying this effect. So this is what Ohm's law is. Now let us have a look on that. We have a relation V is equals to IR. This is Ohm's law, but we can also modify this, that V upon I is equal to R. Here you can see that resistance is equal to the ratio of potential difference to the current. Potential difference is V, I is the current. So resistance is the ratio of potential difference to the current in the circuit. But do not get confused in this that resistance is not dependent on the potential difference and the current flowing in the circuit. It is the property of any conducting material because of which it opposes or it resists the flow of current. So as R is equals to V upon I, or we can say that volt, which is the SI unit of potential difference, I current, its SI unit is ampere. So resistance will be written as volt per ampere. Ampere symbol is A. So you can say volt per ampere. You can also say volt ampere inverse, this way. The symbol I have already told you, it is made like this. This is ohm symbol and this is called omega or simply ohm, because this was taken from the Greek word ohm, omega. That is why this is also called ohm symbol. If we have to define resistance of 1 ohm, we have a relation R is equal to V upon I. So when this resistance will be 1, only when the potential difference is 1 volt and the current is 1 ampere. So we can define the resistance as 1 ohm if a potential difference of 1 volt across the ends of the conductor makes 1 ampere of current flow through the conductor. That means if across a conductor 1 ampere current is flowing when 1 volt potential difference is applied across the ends of the conductor, then the resistance will set to be as 1 ohm. So it will be 1 volt 1 ampere or volt per ampere. We can also find the value of resistance from the graph of voltage to the current, because while studying the relation. Now let us try to find out the resistance using the graph between I and V, where I is the current and V is the potential difference. So we have a graph, x-axis. So on x-axis current is there and on y-axis potential difference is taken. Now as we know that when potential varies, the current also varies, and these two are linearly, or you can say directly proportional to each other. As we know, according to Ohm's law, I is directly proportional to V, or you can say V is directly proportional to I. That means when V increases, I also increases in the same proportion. That means when we are taking readings, then if V is this, then I is here. If V value is here, then potential will come and current will be increased. So the same way we will have a linear line which will show the proportionality relation between the current and the potential difference. Now here we know the values of potential difference and the current. Now how to calculate the resistance from here? You choose any 2 points on the line, this linear line. So suppose I am choosing these two points. Here this is A and this is B. What I have to do? draw perpendiculars from both the points on x-axis and on y-axis. This way. So as this is x-axis, so this value will be, let x1 and x2, and these values are y2 and y1. So we have to find out the slope of this line. The slope of a line is calculated in such a way that, you can see it here, that slope is equal to y2 minus y1 upon x2 minus x1. So this will give us the value of the slope. y2 minus y1 is del v, and or you can say the change in the potential difference upon change in the current value. So this will be del I, and this will give us the value of resistance of respective circuit. So this way we can calculate the value of resistance of a circuit using the graph also. Resistance is the property of any conductor. Then from where this resistance comes in a conductor? As we all know that a conductor is having large number of free electrons, and when a potential difference is applied to a conductor, then these free electrons, they try to align or they drift from one end to another end. As I'll show you here that if this is the conductor or this is a wire, and if we connect this wire to a battery or a cell to maintain the potential difference across the ends of the conductor, then what happens? Earlier, when this connection was not done, we were having free electrons which were moving in the random directions. That means there was no flow of current. But as we have set up the arrangement of the battery, or you can say we have applied electric potential to the ends of the electric conductor, that means now these electrons will move in the electric field of the electric energy or the potential difference, and they will try to align their movement in this way. They will move from negative to positive. This way. As you can see it more clearly now. Yes, they may move in these directions. But what happens when they try to move in this direction? Because a conductor is made up of atoms, so the atoms will also be there. And when the electron, they try to move in a particular direction, they also strike to the atoms or the ions which are there in the conductor, which causes the hindrance or which makes it more difficult to move in a particular direction. So this is the reason from where the resistance comes. Resistance comes when the electrons are drifted from one end of the conductor to another end, and in between they strike with the atoms and the ions present in the conductor. They resist the flow because these atoms and ions are providing the resistance. They oppose the electric charge, electrons, to flow in a particular direction, and this is called resistance of the conductor. So resistance is the property of a conductor or a material, you can say. Now let us see the variation of current with the resistance, that how current varies with the resistance, change in the resistances. So we know according to Ohm's law, V upon I is equals to R, or you can say V is equal to I into R. Potential difference is the product of the current and the resistance of the conductor. So this can also be written as this. And if we want to study the relation between the current and the resistance, and if we write it as I is equal to V upon R by taking R this side and R here, I this side and R here. So now you can see how current will vary if resistance is changed. Suppose first earlier the resistance was R and accordingly I current was flowing in the circuit. If I am doing the resistance double the value R, so we will be having 2R. Resistance is doubled. This overall value, what is happening to this overall value? Because now this value is becoming larger, so the overall value will come lower. So the current will be halved. If we do resistance as R by 2, what will happen? I will be V upon R by 2. That means V into 2 by R. That means we will have double the value of current as we were having earlier if we have halved the resistance of the conductor. So this is how current varies with the resistance, with the changes in the resistance. Now these variations in the resistance can be done through various instruments. As we have studied that resistance is of fixed kind and it can be variable. So let us see. In the electric circuit, we use some kind of components which provide us the resistance, and these resistance components are called resistors. So component in electric circuit which offers resistance is known as a resistor. This is a metallic wire or a conductor which is used as a resistor, and this resistor can be of two types, fixed and variable. Fixed, which is having a particular value, or you can say if we take a particular length of a conductor, then this will have a fixed value of resistance in it. And variable resistance, a component used in the electric circuit to change the current without changing the potential difference across the circuit, is called variable resistance. That means with the help of this variable resistance, we can change the current value in the circuit without changing potential difference applied across the ends of the resistor. And the component which is used for varying the resistance is called rheostat. So rheostat is a device which is used in the electric circuit to change the resistance of the circuit which will lead to the change in the current without changing the potential difference applied across the conductor. And now let us see the effect of this resistance on various materials. Depending upon the value of resistance, there can be three types of materials with low resistance or very low resistance, medium resistance, or very high resistance. The substances which have very high resistance will be insulators. That means they will not conduct electricity at all, as there is a resistance which will not allow the current to or the charge to flow through it. For example, rubber and dry wood. The materials with the medium or high resistance are poor conductors of electricity. Why it is so? Because when the resistance increases inside a material, what happens? The charge, or you can say the electrons, which drift from one point to another point in the effect of potential difference applied across the ends of the conductor, then because of this resistance, the path of electron is restricted, and because of that only a few electrons or a very small amount of charges able to flow through it, and because of that, that material is called a poor conductor of electricity. But in case of very low resistance, the conductors or the material behaves as a very good conductor. In this situation, when the resistance is very low, then the material behaves as a very good conductor. Why? Because when the resistance is very much low, then there are more number of free electrons, and hence the conduction will be very easy, and almost all the charge which is there in the conductor will pass through the conductor, or you can say will move when potential is applied across the ends of the conductor. So they will behave as a very good conductor. For example, silver and copper. Silver is the best conductor of electricity till now. In today's homework, you have 4 questions in total, which are from some other reference books on the basis of today's topic. So the first question is, what is a circuit diagram? Question number 2 is, write and learn the symbols of various electric components. Question number 3 is, define 1 ohm resistance. Question number 4 is, study the activity in the NCERT book given at page number 203 and write your conclusions. So this was the homework of today's lecture. Now let us see the homework solutions of lecture number 1. In lecture number 1, we were having 4 questions in total, and the first question was, define the unit of current. So we know current is measured in ampere. So ampere is the unit to measure the current, and it is denoted by the capital letter A. Current, which is represented with the symbol I, is given as Q upon T. Q is the charge and T is the time for which that charge is flowing through the conductor. Now, if we have to define the ampere, or if the current is 1 ampere, then when we will set the current is 1 ampere which is flowing in the circuit. So we will say that electric current in a conductor is said to be 1 ampere if 1 coulomb of charge is flowing through the cross section of conductor in 1 second. So when 1 coulomb charge is flowing through the conductor in 1 second, then the current will said to be 1 ampere. So you can say that when 1 coulomb charge is flowing through the conductor in 1 second, then the current is said to be 1 ampere. Now the second question is, calculate the number of electrons consisting of 1 coulomb of charge. As we have studied about the quantization of charges, and we know the formula, Q is equal to plus minus NE, where Q is the charge, N is the number of electrons transferred, and E is the charge on 1 electron. So we have been asked to calculate the number of electrons in 1 coulomb of charge. So if Q is 1, we have to calculate this number, and we have to keep the charge on 1 electron, that is 1.6 into 10 raised to power minus 19 coulomb. Then what will be the number of electrons which have this much of charge? So what we will do, N will keep it one side, and this will be written as 1.6 into 10 raised to power minus 19 coulomb. So this can also be written as, when this comes up, it will be treated as 10 raised to the power 19, and this value comes out to be 6.25 into 10 raised to the power 18. So these many electrons are there in 1 coulomb of charge. This is the answer of your second question. Now let us see the third question. Name a device that helps to maintain a potential difference across the ends of the conductor. And that we know very well that this is a dry cell or a battery which is used to maintain the potential difference across the ends of the conductor. So this would be your answer. Next question is, define 1 volt potential difference. What is the formula for potential difference? We know this is electrical work done upon per unit charge. So we have W is equals to W upon Q, where V is the potential difference, W is the electrical work done on Q charge. If we have to define 1 volt potential difference, then we can say that when 1 joule of work is done in carrying 1 coulomb of charge from one point to another without acceleration, then potential difference will be 1 volt. So if we see it in the written form, then we can say potential difference between 2 points is 1 volt if 1 joule work is done in moving 1 coulomb charge from one point to another point. So this is it for today's lecture. We will be doing the resistances in details in the next lecture. Till then, do your work, take care, and goodbye.